Dr. John D. Hare, a professor in British Columbia, Canada, is author of many books, such as Without Conscience. Dr. Hare is one of the leading world-renowned experts. Dr. Hare writes,
Know what you are dealing with. This sounds easy but in fact can be very difficult. Although this book should help, all the reading in the world cannot protect you from the devastating effects of psychopaths. Everyone, including the experts, can be taken in, manipulated, conned, and left bewildered by them. A good psychopath can play a concerto on anyone's heartstrings.
pay attention. Although all should be alarming to you, let's focus on one famous quote. In simple terms, his advice to you is, you're screwed. His famous quote is,
Everyone, including the experts, can be taken in, manipulated, conned, and left bewildered by them.
that's a big problem. Besides, can be taken in should be changed to will be taken in. How many in that very field signing away their own First Amendment rights would you like? Either way, it's a big problem, but not as big as the reality, such as the experts themselves don't know why, which very few were clued in enough to realize.
Everyone, including the experts, can be taken in, manipulated, conned, and left bewildered by them.
Either way, it's a big problem, but not as big as the reality, such as the experts themselves don't know why, even confessing.
All the reading in the world cannot protect you from the devastating effects of psychopaths.
100% correct, except cannot should be changed to will not. Either way, Dr. Hare doesn't know either, noting reading about it, well, is a waste of time. That too is 100% correct, because in essence, you're referring to prevention, which does not exist in this industry. So the experts don't know, right? And they don't tell people that they don't know. And by the way, you're on your own, and maybe you want to do your own research in this department where how many people are being abused in how many areas while they stand quietly aside and say nothing and just don't show up. And nobody thinks that's weird. And you people aren't brainwashed and droned. Maybe after you're shown that 90+% of what goes on in your life is exactly like that. It's your actions against your own best interest. Identical to that of a cult. And you have no idea 90+% of it. And every single one, I can show you hundreds of them. But what the hell is, you're inside the bubble. You want to better protect yourself against evil? You want your kids to better protect themselves with their exposed conscience? With their brains not even recognizing their conscience. As a separate entity, it is. The experts can't help. Why is this one especially alarming? At the top of his field, what Dr. Hare is saying is he is fully aware that this repeatedly occurs. The problem is he doesn't know why or how it continually happens. And the industry does not dispute this. Besides, I have more evidence of it actually happening than anyone would ever admit to. Just as concerning, he nearly answered one of the reasons himself, which he is also clueless about. Dear Dr. Hare, allow me to help you out. One of your problems is your clinical lives within your brain. Therefore, believe it or not, you are at a bigger disadvantage than most people. Add to that, experts think or are sure they would know if being conned. That alone makes their target even bigger. It's important to know they are not only being conned, but used to con others, as you will witness and learn. Dr. Hare, your expertise and that of your colleagues rests in your brain. It's based and baked in your brain. Generally, that's what happens when we learn. The reason even the experts are violated is rather simple. Your attack is targeted at your conscience, such that when using tools like urgency, pity, loyalty, and no time to think, your conscience is running the show. Your brain, the part with all the knowledge, with certificates and degrees to confirm the knowledge, never gets in the game until afterwards. Then, most are too embarrassed to say they were conned, thereby authorizing others to be victimized. Then wield it around as a weapon, like a double-edged sword. After all, a psychologist or a psychiatrist would know, right? So what kind of weapon do they make for evil? Unimaginable. This made easy to evil by the mere fact that the industry doesn't inform the public that they're on their own. And the experts themselves are conned. Instead, the experts themselves are conned, then use as weapons to violate the uninformed. The industry holds that your brain and conscience are one and the same, which is false. In fact, your own statement contradicts that. Dr. Hare, you should also be made aware that your own terminology is counterproductive. For example, you use the word heartstrings. It has nothing to do with anybody's heart. Your heart is a muscle that pumps blood. That's all your heart does. It doesn't do any of the stuff that your field does. Zero. That's your conscience. And that's the word you should use. Then you have sociopath and psychopath, neither of which is defined by your own industry. You can ask 10 different people in your industry, you'll get 10 different answers of what a sociopath is and what a psychopath is. Then if you ask him the ultimate question, you'll start to see the gaze in their eyes. And that would be, tell me specifically what's the difference between a sociopath and a psychopath. A few months back, Anderson Cooper was on CNN or one of these shows, and he's describing a sociopath, and he's 100% incorrect. 100% incorrect. And people will want to argue with him, like it's correct or it's not correct. That's pointless. The only thing that matters in that whole situation is who gave him that information, who used him as a carrier to redirect everyone. Another problem with these psychopath and sociopath words, besides the fact that they're not defined, is that they're pointless and useless. You can't apply them anywhere because nobody has the experience in their life. So it's not possible. However, if you use the word unconscionables, well, everybody has their own feeling for what is an unconscionable situation. Okay? That's not something that your brain answers. That's something that your conscience answers. That's a decision that your conscience makes, is whether something is unconscionable. Not your brain. That's your conscience doing that part. This is why it's important to teach people's brain about their conscience, which is in a 24/7 dance. And keep in mind, it's your brain with that ego piece. Your conscience actually does the complete opposite. And that's where your conscience and your brain will have an argument. By using the word unconscionables, everyone can relate to that. Every human being can relate to that because they have what they consider to be an unconscionable act. And that's all that matters, is what it is to them. So they can quantify what's going on with their own experiences of what they consider to be unconscionable or not. That's how they're able to control their environment. They have to have tools to do this, and they have to have tools that they have. Tools that they're equipped with already, such as their conscience, or added tools to assist them in recognition of what they currently can't see, and as you stated, neither can the experts.
Barak, are you paying attention? I would not bet, if I were you. Criminal threats by members of APA and or affiliated by worldwide psychological hoax.